Well, it don't look like much. I got a 2.5 S10 engine here out of a 91, and pulled it down from upstairs. It's in storage. So I'm gonna go take it, I'm gonna bolt it to the stand, clean it off, brake clean it, blow all the parts out. It's been in a bag. Those are all the accessories that go with it. New gasket set, cylinder head, crank. But I'll pull the block out of the bag there and we'll get it hung up and mounted on this engine stand. So what I did is I took the motor, put it on the stand, and brake cleaned all the ports out, brake cleaned the block, cleaned it up, masked it off, and I'm gonna shoot it with a coat of primer. Then I'll let that dry and I'll shoot it with some paint. Primer. Well, it got them all primered up. I'm gonna let them dry for a little bit. And then I'll come back with some hot rod red. Shoot them with that. Get them all shined up, let that sit overnight, clear them in the morning. And then we'll spend some time washing up parts, get this valve cover cleaned up, everything here cleaned up. I got new pistons sitting in this box here. We'll clean them rods, we'll balance them, weight match them, rod end, crank end. Then we'll start, assembling this. The crank's all done. I just have it sitting on that chair over there. I got a new camshaft, but I need new cam gear and new crank gear. Something happened and some teeth got eaten on this motor. But the plan is we're gonna take and cut those flanges off, and I'm gonna make a set of headers that'll mount to like an HX35 or an HX40 turbo. And I'll build a complete new intake that'll mount probably Holley single barrel sniper system that can handle boost. I'll verify first. but then I'm gonna set this thing up to run turboed. I do have the rings already gapped a little bigger. I don't remember the exact spec, but got everything in this box to assemble it. So I'll get it into a long block, and then we'll start making some custom parts. And this will be going into a 1929 Ford truck body that I'll build a frame for. It'll have a 5-speed manual, the original S10 manual, and it'll just be a 2-wheel drive little chassis. I got the rear end out there, so I'll just build my own frame, do a custom 4-link in the back with airbags, and I'll do the front axle out of my 49 Chevy up front, converted to disc brakes and to match the same bolt pattern. So I'm kind of bouncing around on some projects because I'm waiting on some parts for the 59, I'm waiting on parts for my 49, and I'm waiting on parts for my 30 coupe. And I'm also just starting a 95 Dodge pickup project that's gonna have a 77 crew cab on it. That'll be later. I might pull the body off and go through the motor, but yeah, so this is something that I'm gonna pick away at for a little bit here for the next week or two. So stay tuned. Shot it with some hot rod red. Man, that thing's gonna look good. Still waiting on the head to dry. Tried to get all of the crevices. But yeah, the head's still a little wet. Let it dry a little longer and I'll come back and shoot it with some red. Maybe, you know, wait an hour and maybe I'll shoot that with red, and maybe I'll clear this. Looks like it's almost dry. Maybe just a few more minutes. It's got a few shiny spots. The block. It's dry. Maybe while I'm waiting on that, I'll flip this upside down. Maybe I'll set a crank in it. All right, I'm gonna pull these main caps off. I'm gonna re-wipe out all the journals. Then I'll find the bearing. No bueno. Didn't hurt nothing, so we're fine. Like I was saying, we get these caps out. I'll get a rag and some brake clean. I just want to wipe these journals out, make sure there isn't any dust. I did brake clean this thing and blow it out with air, but you still never know. You just want to make sure everything's clean. I'll do the same with the caps right before I go put them on. I'm going to start in the back. Put in the bearing in the back and work my way in front. Take a little of this lube. Now I had the machine shop make sure all this stuff was good, so I'm not overly concerned, but if I torque the caps down and for whatever reason I can't spin the crank, it feels too tight, then I'll take it apart and worry about it. But I've had my machine shop do all sorts of motors for me. I always like to assemble them. They're okay with that. So they'll gauge up everything, then they bag everything and send it out. So they may not have plastic gauge, but they used a dial bore indicator and everything to make sure everything was good as they went. So now I'm going to unbag the crank, make sure it's good and clean, which it's been in the bag since the machine shop, but I'll make sure it's not dusty, there wasn't any holes in the bag, blow it out, and then I'll set it in here. Just go ahead and set it in nice and easy. Like that. Now I'll set up the caps one at a time and put them in. Now the rear, I will have to take apart again. I'll snug all these by hand. I'm not going to torque them all. But the rear I'll have to pull apart because I have a seal that goes in the back. So actually I was wrong. I thought I had a different seal style for the back. So anyways, it's just a press-in seal. So once I get everything torqued up, I'll make sure it's good and sealed up, and I'll put it together in here. So not really concerned. We'll just keep going through and I'll tighten up everything. Alright, so one thing I am going to do, I have this, it's an anti-seize tub, but I've filled it with tons and tons of ARP lube over the years. So I just want to make sure these good and lubed up. When I'm going together. I'm going to go through and sauce up some bolts. Alright, I just had my impact on the low setting, so didn't get anything gung ho and tight. Now I'm going to grab my torque wrench and torque these. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 70 pound-feet, foot-pounds, whatever you want to say. In 3 increments. Don't know why I went all the way to 70. I'm going to start at 30. Let's do 30 foot-pounds. Alright, now I'm going to go 55. Never let me down yet. Alright, last one. Alright, look at that. Crank is in. Perfect. Find a blue towel, clean up my mess. Heck yeah, I'm okay with that. Well, I'm gonna wait real quick for a second. Actually, I might shoot a little paint in a few spots I missed from the underbelly. So I'm gonna paint that real quick. I'm going to paint that head. Alright, well hello. Well, finished up with that, I'm going to let that dry. Got it flipped back over, cranks in, coat of paint on this bugger. So what I'm going to do with this now is I'm going to go through my box. I got a timing set for it, just the gear on the crank and then the gear for the cam. But I'm going to put the crank gear on. Maybe I will press the cam gear off. And, oh, I don't have to. So, yeah, I forgot, I got a new cam. So I'm going to take the new cam gear and just press it on the new cam. Hopefully it has a keyway. If not, then I will have to press the cam gear off the old cam so I can have the keyway. So guess I'll look at that real quick. All right, got the cam gear dug out of the box, wiped it down. A little bit of fiber on there, but not bad. So now I'm just going to slide it on. It should slide right on. No press fit for the crank, but the cam will have a press fit. I do, sadly, have to press the old, well, what the hell? The old cam gear off the cam. scary noises. Watch it. Because I need that keyway. Now is the tough part. I gotta figure out how to hold this thing without damaging my can. Last thing you want to do at all. And yes, this is dirty, and yes, I will clean everything after I'm done. I think I'm going to try something like that. Yeah. I'm getting real tired of this damn handle. Ain't grand. Ain't great. Right about there. Now I just need to find a nice little flat piece of metal to run across there. Oh yeah, now it's going. Make some room. Come out nice and careful. Now I'll brake clean this off and put it in. Sorry about that. Just need to clean up my hands. I don't want to touch this. I don't know if this is some felt material. I'm just going to kind of turn the crank. So when I do get this thing in, bleeding on it a little bit, that's all right. You gotta line up your dots. I'm gonna call it for tonight. Got the block painted. Cam and cam gear, brand new cam. It's supposed to be like a high output version. New cam gear set. They're known for, you know, after a while, these, I don't know if that's felt or whatever it is, composite material. Teeth will break off. It happens on high mile motors. I had one of these that I tortured the crap out of in an S10. I mean, rev to the moon as far as it would go. I couldn't hardly ever blow that thing up until I did some other dumb stuff. But so anyways, I got a clean up the timing cover to put on, new seals, whatever, and then we'll just flip it upside down. We'll probably put an oil pump and everything in it, and the rear main seal if we can. Probably have to pick it off for that. I got to clean up all the rods. I got new pistons and rings. We'll mount all that in. drop pistons in, hook up to the crank, then we can slap the head on. I gotta order a head bolt kit. I just got the old head bolts for this sitting in a bag. I'm gonna order new ones, so stay tuned for more and I'll be back to do that. So for the rest of the night, I'm gonna clean up some of my mess here and put a bag on this so it's all sealed up. Thanks for watching.